Hi everyone, welcome to the Newcomers call. This call is basically an introduction of you to the community. You will be able to understand what projects we work on and get familiar with the community more. So this is the meeting minutes. If you're attending this call, you're supposed to write your names down in the attendees section. Uh, you'll find the link in the chat, I think. So please add your names to the attendees list. Okay, so it is a tradition to begin with the introduction of all members. So my name is Devopriya. I'm a second year student at BITS Pilani, Hyderabad, India. I have been a part of Layer5 from 2 months now, and I've contributed mostly to the front end projects. So now, all these new members, you can start introducing yourself. Tell us about what you work with, why you joined the community, anything you like. So, do we have any volunteers?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
My name is Mahendra. Basically, I'm from Goa, India, and studying in Karnataka in Mandya near Bangalore. Now, recently I passed second year. I'm going to third year. I have made open source contributions, but most of my contributions have been known code. So now currently I'm trying to make some code contributions. So started joining this community day before yesterday. So very excited for this.
Great. Nice to meet you. Do we have anyone else who wants to go? You can volunteer, otherwise I'll start taking names.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. So my name is Shanjan. I live in Haryana, in India. I am a student at IIT Kanpur. I am pursuing my second year there, and I love to contribute in open source. That's why I joined this community. I found about this community through Twitter. I have joined 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah. You even made your first PR, so congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Okay, so Aditya Raj, will you go
Yes,
next?
hello. Yes, hello. Myself, Aditya Raj. I am a third year student currently from LNCT Bhopal, majoring in electronics and communication engineering. I have been coding since past 1 or 2 years, and mostly I've been practicing BSA questions on comparative programming and all. And these days I tried to work on some projects and didn't find much interest in them, so I decided to let's try open source development paradigm. So I searched around a bit and I came to know about LFX community. So there I came across a Mesri mentorship program. So from there I came to join here, the Layer 5 community, and now I look forward to being an active contributor to the community. Thanks.
Okay. Do we have anyone else who wants to go next?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Vishal Kumar. I'm currently studying at IIT BHU, pursuing mathematics and computing. I've been contributing to open source since around October, and then it was majorly in December and January. My niche is React, but the machinery was built on Go, so I'm now learning Go, and I would love to contribute to the community.
You can even use your React skills over here, but you can learn Go as well.
Yeah, means I would try to entangle both of them so I can contribute more and more.
Okay. Also, you can add your name to the meeting minutes. I don't see it here.
Actually, I joined the chat meeting a bit late, so I don't have the link to documentation.
Okay, you'll find it in the chat. Okay. So, anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Yeah, hello. I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mohammed Warid this side, second year undergrad at DTU. Currently been done with CSOC at Public Lab and LFX at Mojo Global. Tech stack currently lies in Rails and Vue, and I think Mesri would serve as a great platform for contributing to open source further. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hello everyone. So my name is
Hi.
Mohit Sharma and I am currently pursuing my bachelor degree from Chandigarh University. I am currently in my third year and I really like contributing to open source. Before this, I am contributing to Uniform Digital Library Initiative (CDLI) from past 3 to 4 months, and I am now looking forward to contributing to CNCF and Mesri. So for that, I'm learning Go. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Are we left with someone else? You can.
Yeah, I'm the only one left, I think.
Okay.
Unless someone else wants to go. No, I think we covered them all. So hi guys, I am Aditya. I've been a part of Layer5 for the past 2 months. I'm a community manager here. I work basically on the front end, but I also do back end sometimes. I only know React, nothing else. Everything I've learned is from Layer5, be it Gatsby, Jekyll, whatever. I have learned it all over here. So even if you know HTML, CSS, start contributing and you'll start learning. Thanks.
Okay, so I think everyone has done. So to begin with, I would like to ask if all of you have joined the Slack channel, because you can contribute through GitHub, but in Slack you can have direct interactions with people. You can ask everyone if you have questions, so it's appreciated if you join the Slack channel. Also, we have a lot of meetings throughout the week. Like this is a newcomers call, you have the community call tomorrow. So in order to keep track of that, you can subscribe to the community calendar. You can find the link here, go to community. You can subscribe through this, okay? So now, basically our community works. The main project is Mesri. Mesri has a lot of components. You can contribute to the UI, Mesri UI. You can contribute to backend. You can also contribute to the website. So this is the Mesri website. This is the front end part of it. If you come here to docs, you will find all the information you need related to Mesri. There is abundant information over here. You can go through the doc and this will solve most of the questions you may have. Now, I also shared this website with you. This is basically our main website. So here you find most of the information regarding the community. So if you come here in this tab, you can find the newcomers resources over here. So all the guide that you need, how to work on an issue, how to make your first contribution, what is the workflow, everything can be found over here. So this document has links to certain documents over here, like the community handbook, which will help you get familiar with the community. We have the repository overview, which will tell you about most of the projects. So the front-end projects here are layer5.io, meshery.io. You can contribute to the docs. You can contribute to SMP spec. So most of these are built with Jekyll. Layer5 website, which I just showed you, is built with Gatsby. And from the backend, we have all these repos. So you can select any and start contributing to it. One more thing which I would like to show you is for every repository, there are contributing guides, which are very important for you to go through before you make your first contribution. So you can go through these as well. So do we have any questions till now?
I have one.
Yeah.
While making commit, do we have to write w/sign off?
Yeah, it is very important. You can see here, over here in the general workflow, signing off is very important because otherwise you'll not pass the DCO test. So you have to sign off for every commit that you make.
I mean in the commit message, like
No,
w/sign off.
just interrupting you for a bit. You don't have to write with sign off. You just have to sign off your commit. The message can be anything, as long as it's as long as it makes sense with what the PR is. But you don't have to write w/sign off. That's just an example.
Okay.
You have to just include this -s, so that will do the sign off with. Okay. So very briefly, the general contribution overflow is the flow is you fork the repo that you want to work on, you clone it on your device, you make the changes, and then you add the changes and commit it with the sign off. So that is all you have to do. So now, in order to learn more about Meshery, there are certain resources available for you. If you come to learn, you will have various books over here, and you will also have workshops. And this is the interactive labs where you can start a scenario and you can work with Meshery with the instructions over here. So there will be a terminal and you can look at the instructions and have hands-on experience with Meshery. If you're new to it, this is the best way to start learning. Okay. So do we have any more questions?
Also, just to add to that, we don't have labs for all the service meshes. So if any of you want to get your hands dirty on writing some labs, you could might as well go to the Layer5 repo. There's a Layer5 org. There's a repo called Service Mesh Labs, and start contributing to that as well.
Can you guys hear me? Because I think the voice is breaking. Okay, I'm sorry. I think it was my net. My Zoom got disconnected. Okay. You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep, go on.
Okay. So the next thing is in order that can you guys hear me? I think my net is a little problematic right now.
I'm sharing the screen if you want to keep going on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So we also, if you go to the Meshmates page, yeah, so throughout your journey over here, you can, we have several Meshmates over here who are people who can help you out if you are stuck at any time. We have Anita on the call here with us today. She's also a Meshmate. So you can ask your questions to them. You can ask them through Slack, GitHub. They're always here to help you. You can ask any of us. This is a very welcoming community. So anyone who you think you can approach, you can go ahead and ask them. So people will help you out. So now in order to make your first contribution, I will suggest you go through the labels on GitHub. Look at help wanted labels or good first issue labels so that you can start contributing to easy issues and then get familiar with the code base, and then you can take on more issues. But it's not a hard and fast rule. You can take up anything you want, and you will get all the help you need. So that is one thing which you can. Anita, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sorry. It's my cat disturbing me. Please go on.
Okay. So as I mentioned, you can join Slack, but we also have a discuss forum. So basically what happens with Slack is sometimes you don't have the permanent record of the questions and the answers that you get. So on Discuss, you create a permanent record of the questions that you ask and all the answers. It's always there so that anyone else who has the same question can go through this and find the solution. So Discuss is meant mostly for that. You can use Slack for suggestions or just random conversations, but Discuss is where you can discuss, basically discuss about everything. So yeah, that's that. Now, also, I hope you guys have filled the newcomers form, because then you can get access to most of our resources. You can get access to the community drive, because that has documentations on installation, on how to contribute, a lot of other resources which you may need. So you can fill the newcomers form and get started. Now, this is basically what you need to know to start contributing. So contributions, as I told you, you can start from any of the repositories that you like. You can start from front end, back end, anything. So do we have any other questions right now related to whatever I've said?
So I saw a question in chat from Shreyans about learning Gatsby. So basically Gatsby is just the framework. There's no need to learn it. As far as you know JavaScript or React, you can start working on it. You don't need to learn like start watching YouTube videos or anything like that. As soon as you start working with it, you will get familiar with the code base. You will get familiar with the framework, how it works, and then you will be able to execute it. And the same with Jekyll too. The most important thing that I would say is go through the documentation a little bit. The documentation is really helpful, be it for Jekyll, be it for Gatsby. You can go through that and start working on it. You don't have to sit and learn and then start working with it. Any other questions?
Yeah, actually, Devapriya, if it's fine, should I call her ma'am or Didi or
No,
by name?
First thing,
Just call me by my name.
Yeah, okay. So she just told that there's something, I think, of a form for newcomers or something of a resources type. Can you share the link for that if it's possible, or is it in that particular? Oh, okay, sure, sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
And where is the
So-
community drive link?
Community drive link, you can, it's there on GitHub. It's there on the README everywhere.
Okay.
So
If you scroll to the top of this doc, you'll see a drive. Yeah, that's the community drive.
yeah. Okay, you also have the YouTube links here. You have the Slack links here. Everything is available. So every meeting has its own minutes. So most of the links that you need will be available. And we also have a newcomers guide. We have a community welcome guide. So in order to get familiar, it is recommended that you go through all these drives. or these documents, they will solve most of your questions. If there's anything which you still have problems with, you feel free to ask any of us. Okay. Also, since some of you are asking whether you need to know Gatsby completely or you're learning Go, it's not compulsory to know the language completely in order to start contributing. Like when I started, I did not know React properly. I did not know anything properly. But when I was looking at the code, I could find patterns and then I could just make my way through it. So you don't have to wait for it. You can take your time and get familiar. So that's one thing you can do. Okay.
So here, Rajat, you said that you can't access the repositories. Could you please explain what you meant by that?
Hey, when I try to access these drives or these GitHub repos, I guess the repositories, which was mentioned there in earlier emails, it was actually, asking me to request, for them to access.
These GitHub repositories?
No, no, I'm not sure if these are the only repositories which are there. Then it's okay.
These are the only repositories, and these are all available to the public. You don't need to fill up any form. Can you access this form? Like the one in which we are writing the minutes in? I shared the doc link right now.
Yeah, I've just opened it. Yes.
So yeah, so that means you fill in the form. So you should have access to all like the community, like all the community guides and everything. And the GitHubs are public, so there shouldn't be a problem in accessing that. Like that's not from our side, at least.
Okay. All right.
Pardon me, but I think form filling is required for Drive, I guess, if
Yeah,
I'm
for
correct.
the drive, you have to fill in the form.
Okay, sure.
Yep. That is something which I already filled as a part of that newcomer form.
Yeah.
I
So
hope.
are you not getting access to the drive yet?
Yes.
You want? If you aren't, could you just drop it in the Slack and we'll get you access to it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So another thing which I would like to mention is you can make contributions not only to the code. We also have a lot of blogs which are written. You can make contributions to UI, UX. You can make designs. So you can contribute to any of these aspects. You can also contribute to the documentation. This is the blogs page. So you can read the blogs written by some of our members. And you can write blogs. You can write blogs about anything you want, anything you feel is important to share with the community. And you can also contribute to the documentation. If you find there is some information which can be enhanced, you can you feel free to create issues or to solve them yourself. Also, you can, as you contribute and you go through our sites, it can be that you find issues which haven't been noticed by others. So feel free to bring them up, because that is how we improve all our projects. So you can create issues, or if you think you want to discuss it with someone, there are several channels on Slack. So on Slack, we have, okay, someone's mic unmuted because I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear
Anyways, okay. So on Slack, you have several channels. You have separate channels for websites. You have separate channels for Meshery UI, for Meshery. So make sure you utilize those channels properly. If you have questions related to blogs, there is a channel called Blog Kitchen. So there are separate channels for everything, and you can ask your questions over there. Priyansh is asking, what is the procedure to write blogs? There is no procedure. You can start with a draft, and you can share it with the other community members, and we will give suggestions and basically just keep on refining it. Once it is ready, we can publish it to our blogs page. There's no procedure as such. Okay. So do we have any other questions? I think I've covered most things regarding the community and the contributions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us now or maybe on Slack later on. Totally fine. Okay. I'm assuming you guys understood everything properly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
I had a doubt initially. Also, I think Shreyansh also had that. Uh, Actually, the code base is quite big, and currently we look at, but still I'm too confused about what actually measure is. So, can any of the maintainers or org admins give a brief intro, means what it is, so it can help us better?
Okay. Aditya, would you like to go with this one?
Sure. So basically, Meshery is a control plane where you can manage your own service meshes. If we go to the website, I'll begin with the website. So here are what Meshery does. You can see the service mesh performance. You can see the patterns that we're trying to integrate right now, or the SMI conformance. So when you were speaking about the code base, so you don't have to understand the entire code base because nobody knows the entire code base. It's not possible for anyone to do that. So if you want to start working with, for example, if you want to start working with patterns, you go to the docs, you read what patterns are, and then you start reading what there already is. You can start reading what service mesh patterns are. You start seeing the sample patterns, and then you start implementing them on your own. So yeah, basically what Meshery is that. So basically Meshery helps you manage your service meshes. Okay. If you guys could just give me a second.
I think I might have miscalculated. I mean, what are the prerequisites? Since it's a service management system, as I'm understanding
Yeah.
from the docs and you explained,
Yeah.
I also don't know the service mesh. So apart from me, I think that is something to do with the infrastructure or something. I'm quite unsure about that. So are there any prerequisites that we need to know so that we can get our hands familiar? Is there
I
any
guess Kubernetes.
Yeah, like if you are familiar with Kubernetes or Docker or any of that, that would be a huge help. So since prerequisites, as in if you want to start contributing to what we are doing, a good prereq would be Go, because the entire backend is written in Go. Right now, our front end is written in React, so React would be a really good prereq. Right now, we are going to shift to Redux. Like that's what Meshery UI is going to shift into. So if you are good with Redux, that would also be a really good prereq. That is what you're asking, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, apart from that, is there any system design architecture for the whole Meshery project? Like different projects?
Are you talking about like all the design specs?
Yeah, like a interactive data flow diagram or something.
Yeah, if you go to our Layer5 website, you can find, as I mentioned, you can go through the labs. You could try the labs out, and that's interactive. And then you can start like Istio, Linkerd, Kuma. These are all service meshes. So if you start working with one of the labs, you would be able to understand how Meshery works. And there's also like there are a lot of interactive animations over here that you could go and spend some time seeing what happens.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yes. So in case if I start, if someone starts contributing on your backend side, and if they or maybe on operator side, like how do they test? How do they can test their code? Is it someone like is it them? It is required to bootstrap the complete my Kubernetes cluster or Meshery
No. So are
together
you
from
talking
scratch?
about locally running Meshery?
Yeah, if someone if I need to write the code, I'll
Yeah.
be writing it locally.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need to test it before pushing it or making a
Yeah.
commit.
Yeah.
How can I do
In
that?
the contributing guide, you have the instructions written to build your server locally. So basically to run Meshery locally. So that is how you can test it before pushing your changes.
So yeah. So
Can you
basically,
share? Can you
yeah.
point out the exact link so that it can be handy for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I'll send you the exact link. I'll also give you a brief preview of how you're supposed to do it. I'll share the link first. Okay. So basically, you first go to the Meshery repo. Okay. You fork it.
Hmm.
We have it forked. So I already have Meshery. So
Hmm.
then you clone it onto your local.
Hmm.
You go to that file. All right. So first step that you need to do is you need to set up the UI. So you have to set up the libraries. Make the contributing guide has all this written up, so you can follow that. First, you have to make up the UI libs. Like this sets up all the libraries. Then you build the UI.
Hmm.
So okay, while this happens, after this, there are two ways that you can go. So if you are, for example, on Meshery, if you're if you are working on the front end, we have a separate server for the UI development and a separate server for the other stuff, the backend, if you want to test it out. So if you if you want to test out the UI dev, you go to make run UI dev.
So is a make UI make run UI dev command is going to bootstrap the UI on some
Yeah. So
containerized
yeah,
platform?
no, not in a containerized platform. It's going to it's going to run on your local host on the
Localhost. Okay,
yeah, on the
3000. That's it.
yeah.
Makes sense.
And
And
yeah, if you want
yeah.
to run Meshery, then you do wait, let me just go to Meshery. Then you do make run fast. And with this, if you have Docker desktop, like I use Docker desktop, when you switch on Docker desktop, it also has Kubernetes to it. So if you want to play around with Meshery, you need a Kubernetes configured. And then after that, when you open it, it will ask for an authorization. You can just authorize yourself with any of these. And then this is the interface. Since I have Docker desktop running, so it shows that Kubernetes is connected to Docker desktop, and then you can install your service meshes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay.
Go on.
And in case if you make any changes like
Yeah, if they are not
so
UI, if they're not UI changes, like UI changes will only be visible on the UI development server. Otherwise, you can see
if
them.
in case if it's a backend or maybe changes related to operator, then how can someone test it?
You can then you have to use the CLI. We have a it's called Meshery CTL. So how
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to work with Meshery CTL is like go into the Meshery CTL folder, then you run the make command, and then if you there's a command tracker. I think it's in our drive itself. If you go to the command tracker, you'll be able to find the commands, and using those commands you can do it. Like since I already have Meshery running, Meshery CTL system start. This would start this would start only if you have like a Kubernetes cluster or Docker installed. After that, it'll configure everything on its own. So that you have to use a CLI for that.
Okay. So either use CLI or there is only for local development, I guess the CLI is the only option.
Yeah, for
There is no Helm chart kind of
no,
thing.
no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can go to meshery.io and see all the ways that there's a getting started portion over here. And then you can see how you do it with AWS or AKS, Minikube, Kind, Helm as well. We do have a Helm.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, all right.
For Windows user, WSL2 is needed, I guess, isn't it? Well, WSL2 helps. It is better than running it directly on Windows, because Windows, it gets a little complicated sometimes. So WSL2 is better, and it can be either Kubernetes or Docker. Well, you need a Kubernetes. Like over here it shows Docker because I have Kubernetes running on my Docker desktop. That's why it shows Docker. So you need a Kubernetes connection. Do we have any other questions? I see Shantan has joined us. Shantan, do you want to introduce yourself? I guess not. Any other questions or nothing? We have a lot of time on our hands.
So, what all projects are basically, you recommend for Go programmers to kickstart with?
Like Meshery, like the Meshery CTL would be the best part to start. If you are a gopher, you start with Meshery CTL. It has lots of stuff to do. So as you can see, like right now my screen, it opened localhost 9081 automatically because I had Meshery CTL running. So that's what happens when you connect with the command like the CLI. So it automatically opens up Meshery on one of your operating systems. Yeah. So,
And Meshery CTL,
yeah.
CTL is so Meshery CTL is something which is a CLI plugin that is written in Go language.
That is Golang, yeah.
And it issues commands to some operator, Kubernetes operator for Meshery that is running inside your in some namespace. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are right.
Okay. And what is the name of that operator?
Well, it's called Meshery operator.
That's it. Okay.
Snigdha, you can go ahead and introduce yourself if you want.
Hi everyone, I'm Snigdha Tiwari. I am a third year student in BITS Goa. I am pursuing electronics and instrumentation engineering there. I got into development in my first year only, and I started with web development at first. And then I did a few interns as a full stack developer and a front end developer in certain startups and everything. And right now I am delving into the world of machine learning, and also I wanted to contribute to open source. So that's why I saw a video about the Linux Foundation and saw that your organization was listed there. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, have you filled in the newcomers form?
No, actually, I didn't check my Slack in a while. I haven't checked my Slack in a while. I will do it once. Could you please tell more details about the Linux Foundation and the open source part of it? Because I'm not sure. Because I couldn't find any valid resources on the internet for this.
So if you fill the newcomers call, you will have access to all our resources, our documentation, which has the contribution guide, basically. And Anita has shared a link for the careers programs page. This has all the mentorship programs that you can enroll yourself through.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that has the information about how you're supposed to get an internship through LFX over here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
If you check the FAQ session, just on that page, you'll be able to get answers to some of your questions. But then if there are no answers for that, there you can still drop questions in Slack, and we'll provide you with the necessary answers you need.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, if you're just taking front end projects in the community, you might not necessarily need to install Kubernetes or Docker on your system, because it's just same thing as having a knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and knowing how to use Git and GitHub. So you can just start your contributions without even having to install Docker or Kubernetes on your PC. Sure.
Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, I think we are done for today. If you have questions, feel free to bring them up. I think Snigdha joined late, so if you have any other questions regarding the community, you can go ahead and ask.
Actually, I will see the documentation and everything, and then if something comes up, I'll maybe ask on Slack if there is a
Yeah.
channel for it.
Okay, there are several channels. So if you have any question relating to any channel, there's a general channel. You can ask the general queries there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think that's all for today. You guys can join the community call tomorrow, because we'll have all the community members over there. You can see how those calls work, and you can join any of the calls throughout the week. As I told you, you can join the community calendar and get the calls. Also, in the meeting minutes, when you start contributing, if you have any of your issues that you would like to discuss with the community or with the members, you can add them to the agendas of every meeting. So once you have access to the docs, you can do that for any meeting. You can add your own agendas over there and discuss them in the call. So yeah, that's all. Okay. Thank you for joining. I hope I made sense.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.